Hi, my name is John Savage. This is my wife.
Leah Savage. Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to talk about a couple of things actually, and dealing with marriage, families, couples, and Living Well Community Foundation. So we'll start off by hearing from my lovely bride here, my beautiful lady, Leah Savage.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to start off with how we met. John and I have a fairy tale love story, but it was written by God himself. So we were both college graduates, single. It was 2002, and I was in Sacramento, California. He was in Hickory, North Carolina. And we were both just trusting God for our mate. And a friend of mine from childhood called me up and said, "Hey, I found your husband, and I'm going to be in the wedding." And so I was, of course, thinking, how is this possible? But I went ahead and let her give him my number, and she called him up and said, "Hey, I found your husband, and I'm going to be in the wedding."
And I was like, oh, okay. I don't do that. So.
But we both gave it a chance, and I gave her my number to give to him, and he called me after 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first day we talked for 3 hours. It was an instant connection.
Yeah.
And then we talked over the phone for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
We fell in love over the phone. We knew that we were made for each other. And then he flew out to Sacramento, and within 4 months we were married. So
that's pretty much it. Actually. So, no, let me tell my side. So, actually, God was really good. He's just really faithful just during a period of time where I was just really waiting for my wife and really wanting to have a special relationship, someone who really loved me, cared about me, but loved God more. I said, one of the things is I had went through a bad relationship, and I told the Lord that this time it's got to be someone that I know they love you as much as I do or more. I don't care if she's rich, poor, I don't care if she's on the street, whatever, it doesn't matter. If she's my wife, she's my wife. And so anyway, I would spend some time before I graduated walking to the stores, walking to just having some beautiful days in Hickory, North Carolina. Anybody knows about Hickory. But anyway, I would just take walks, have some beautiful walks with the Lord, just talk to him, but really longing for that mate. And I would go to the movies by myself, so I would go out to eat by myself. And one night I said, you know what, I was so frustrated, I'll never forget walking past my apartment after a long day at school and work. Walking that evening, it was a beautiful full moon, clear skies, and I was going to the movies actually that night, downtown Hickory. And I was so frustrated, I was like, Lord, I'm just tired of this. I'm just like, when? Just really wanting my mate. So I came home that night, the next day, and I made a list. Literally, we still have it. It's about a page and a half of all these details of what I desired in a wife. And long story short, it was just so many beautiful attributes about her heart, her internal being. I knew she was going to be beautiful. But so I got a call the next day, actually, in less than 24 hours, from our wonderful sister, Natasha Smith. Mm-hmm. And when she said, "Hey, John," because we were talking for months on the phone, and just she was going to Hampton University down the street from where my parents lived, and a family friend since we were children. But anyway, that one night she said, "Hey, John, I found your wife and I'm going to be in the wedding." I'm like, okay. And part of me wanted to be like, okay, great, praise God. But on the other part, I'm like, I don't talk to anybody on the phone. I don't date like that. I don't communicate like that. But you know what? I pondered it. Got her information after she talked to Leah. I waited for 3 days, like she said, and that following Saturday, I called her. And from there, we hit it off. We talked, and we only missed maybe probably 2 or 3 days since we've been together that we weren't able to talk or communicate for some reason. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, every single day, whether she's gone on a trip, retreat with women out of town, or I've flown out of town, we've always communicated, always talked throughout the day. So anyway, we ended up getting married, proposed to her in December of that same year, from August to December. I think it was the 21st, 18th. Mm-hmm. And then, I actually came in 18th.
Okay, maybe it was the 21st.
So it's the 21st, yes. 3 days later. So
it was the 21st.
But yeah, and so we already knew that she was going to be my wife when we were talking on the phone, and one of the things I asked the Lord when we first started talking, after about 3 or 4 weeks actually, I said, whatever it is, Lord, I just want to know. She'll say something, I don't care what it is, but it'll just be something that she says just a certain way that I'll know. And I remember she's like, well, I have something to tell you. And she's like, and I could tell she's smiling with her beautiful lips. Anyway, she was like, I like you. I really like you. And so it's just what she said and how she said it. But yeah, we already knew on the phone that I knew she was my wife and she knew I was her husband. And so God has been faithful. We got married April 12th that following year. 8 months later, 2003, we graduated in 2002. And it's been going on 15 years. This April will be 15 years we've been married, and 16 years and this coming August that we've been together. Yes. So that's that. So it's a little bit about us and who we are, and just kind of how we met, and God really has been faithful. We communicate a lot. I had someone, and one of the things with the marriage is God is the key, and we really lay ourselves down for each other, and that's a big deal to me. Just with different experiences we've had growing up, and so for both of us, that was a very big deal as far as family. Communicating, loving one another, sharing together, and when one's down, you lift the other up. God means that seriously, and He laid His life down through Jesus Christ, that we can in turn do the same thing, that we can lift each other up when we're down. And Christ laid His life down so we might have life and have it more abundantly. And that's the same thing we're supposed to be reciprocating in a marriage. And God's been good. He's been really good. And, she's my better half, will always be my better half, no matter how much I strive, because she's just a special gift. I just thank God for Leah. And, it's just been like, I can't see life without her. And, and I'm proud of her, too. I'm just so proud of her, just who she is and just how she supported me this journey with business and work and pursuing our dreams, pursuing more for our family. It's just been beautiful. And I'm going to stop for a moment because I could say a lot more. But
and I'll say this, some people say marriage is hard, but John and I don't agree.
Amen.
Life is hard, but marriage doesn't have to be. And for us, our marriage is the most beautiful part of our life.
Amen.
And it's because God truly is first. He truly is our one desire, our one passion. Our Matthew 7 talks about if you build your house on a rock, that though the flood may come, the rain may come and beat upon that house, because it's founded on the rock, it will not fall. But if you build your house on sand, great will be the fall of your house when the flood comes and the rain comes. And so it is with the marriage. And that is why 15 years later, through many floods and many storms we've gone through, 4 children, financial ups and downs, people saying things, attacks of the enemy, all sorts of things we've gone through, yet our marriage stands strong because we're founded on Jesus Christ, who is the rock.
And I just a little slipping in real quick, I just want to, again, there's a brother who's just like a mentor to me. Would love to have spent more time with him. Really want my wife to get to know him and the kids. But wealthy, courageous guardian, Archie E. Ferguson. When I was in North Carolina, he really began to take me under, and sometimes he'd say things a certain way, be like, John, I'll be like, okay, what's he going to say? Why is he looking at me like that? But one of the things he told me I'll never forget, he said, start praying for your wife now. He said, start praying for her now. But it wasn't just about me praying for her. So many times people are like, well, I'm praying for my mate. They're going to have this, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, you don't know what life's going to throw at you. They can do all those things, and life throws things at them, and none of it works. So that's why when you pray, you have to pray with an intention out of love, out of building them up. It's not about what you can get, but about what you can give. And when you start praying, it's really putting you in a position of humility and a position of being able to think about others beyond just yourself. And vice versa, they should be doing the same thing for you as well. Is it a cakewalk all the time? No. But the thing is, when we keep our eyes focused on God and not man, when we go like this, we're going to fall into things, we're going to bump into things unnecessarily. But when we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, He makes everything so much better, regardless of what you're going through. And the times where you think you can't make it, and you're whatever you're going through, whatever the reason, He's carrying you. And so when you reciprocate that love through each other, He'll help carry you, even in the process of healing, which we both experienced with each other, periods of healing. At first, I'd be just like, look at her, I'd be like, "You're just so beautiful," and I just start crying. I'm like, "Why am I crying so much?" And I look at her, "You're just so beautiful," and I would just start crying. I mean, literally just. But anyway, that's enough of that. But I thank God, because God was doing a cleansing and a healing and bringing things to the surface in such a beautiful way that was just only something that He could do. Anyway.
And as John said, marriage should be a place where you heal. It should be a place where you're becoming one and you're becoming more whole and healed and complete in Christ. And what's so beautiful about our marriage is it's not just us sharing this amazing love, but our marriage has become our ministry. It's become the place where we can pour out into other people, starting with our children, and then we've given birth to Living Well Community Foundation. And that's really where everything that we've been through as a couple, we can just pour into other couples. Because one of the things that gives me such hope is you don't suffer pain just to go through it. You go through it to help others. With the same comfort that God has comforted us, we become those conduits through which He can comfort others. And so that is why, we have Living Well Community Foundation, so that we can share what God has shared with us, what He's done in us with other couples who may be going through. And so that's our heart, that's our burden, that's our passion, to see couples whole, to see them well, living well, whole, engaged, loved, liberated. That's our passion, that's our desire.
Amen. And so it's there's so much there to the dynamics of individuals, men, women, families, couples. It's just becoming one together, and what that looks like. But no one has the answers, and every marriage is different. Everybody's different, and life is going to throw something at you different. Everybody has a different calling, so there's all those different dynamics. And if people can begin to resonate with that and being connected to the Father and with each other, and having a heart to really hear each other's heart and communicate with each other, like we communicate all the time, all throughout the day. I actually had a client today. The phone was ringing. I try and be very cognizant about, respecting my client's time, but also when to pick up the phone for my wife, because she's top priority. Not my job, not going to the church and doing ministry, but my wife first. She supports me in all the things I've been doing and been able to go service people in the hospitals with what I do in business and other areas, in their homes or at their office, because I have her support. And we work together in tandem, even with the children. And so when you communicate and when you really lay yourself down for one another, it makes things so much better when you're riding the turbulence of life, or when you're just going through things that just come up in life. And that's the thing about it, is just really valuing what you have. We all have gifts, and realizing that it is a gift, even if you don't fully understand it. And anyway, this client, he said today, the phone started ringing. I saw it was my wife, and I picked it up. I said, "Hey, sweetie, can I call you right back in a little bit?" And so she's like, "Yes, sir. Okay, I love you." And then the client said, "You got your priorities straight." And then he said he had been married for a while, for 20 years, and then he said he wasn't. I don't know what happened, but it put a smile on my face, and it put a smile on his face. It was a blessing, just that short interaction. It's not always about what we say or what we think we know, or we have this degree or this specialist or certification. It's just the things that you do and how you live your life. And not that things always look good, but people want to see what you do when you fall or when you run into a challenge. How do you get back up? Because they want to know. They're looking for answers. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for someone with strength. And sometimes strength is being quite vulnerable in your deepest, toughest moments as well. Being real, being honest with yourself, being honest with those closest to you, but at the same time being able to get back up and keep going and pursuing what God has given you in your hands. So yeah, I could say so much, but
yes.
Anything else you want to say as far as with living well, or?
I think we've said it all.
Yeah.
No, we just want to share that there is hope. there is hope for you. There's hope for wherever you're at. You know, there's hope. There's always hope in Christ. And so one of the things that has helped us through many seasons is that we would just grab hands and pray.
Amen.
No matter what we were going through, we would pray and depend on Him to be our answer.
Amen.
And so, if you don't remember anything else, grab hands to the one that you love and pray.
And be open.
Yeah.
You share your heart. You
Be
have
honest,
to, again,
be
this is
real.
one that's closest to you for life. And just really share your heart. Be open. Be honest. Communicate things, even if it's to encourage the other one, to admonish them to do something a little differently that you see to help them. Because that's part of open love, you know. Just open rebuke is better than hidden love. It might not always be a rebuke, but you really trying to encourage and push the other spouse to help them to be better. And sometimes that's not comfortable, but it makes you better. We all want to go to the gym. A lot of people want to go to the gym now. They're popping up all over the place. But how many of us want to go and do the work to have the physique we want? To gain the weight we want, even to gain the weight you want, you have to eat certain things a certain way. It doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time. And things that happen over time, it's one moment at a time. And that can be the greatest challenge sometimes, when you see something so off that you want so bad, but you have to start right here where you're at. But the victory is starting where you're at now, because if you never start, and you keep saying you're going to start, you'll never get to the other side of where you want to be. Because this isn't the end, this is only the beginning. And when you get to that next destination, guess what? God has something even better for you. But He's going to build